I am not quitting YouTube. I love YouTube. In addition to talking about the amazing year that we just had on this channel with all of your support, I want to share with you a story that I've only really shared with my close personal friends about how the media industry works, where my standards are when it comes to making content, and how I continually want to put patience and ethics first. I will not work with a company that I don't believe in. I will not work with a company that will not allow me to tell the truth about its product. And that's really the story that I want to start off with. And that story is about a TV show that I was given the opportunity to have as my own TV show. And honestly, I was so excited about it. When a company comes to you and says, you're gonna be in every state, you're gonna be on mainstream media, you're gonna have your own show, no one else, you're the lead host, my eyes went big. I'm like, wow, this is my shot to go on television to educate a completely new demographic of people. I was ecstatic, but I was ecstatic with a little cautious optimism there because I knew that that could easily be swayed in the wrong direction. So when I'm talking to the producers and the people behind the scenes, right away I say that I need to be an executive producer of the show as well to make sure that the information that we're talking about is accurate, it's not exaggerated, you're not facing all the same problems that you see in traditional media where they try and scare you with headlines or they over-accentuate certain studies to make it sound like some miraculous cure is found, but that's not really the case. We've seen that a lot on medical TV shows, and it's exactly the opposite of what we stand for on this channel. They agreed. They said, you get to do this how you want. We believe in you. We've seen the success on the YouTube channel. We're gonna make it work. It really felt too good to be true. And you know, when it comes to doing a big TV deal worth multi-million dollars, that's literally what I was offered. Again, I've never really said this to anybody except my close friends. There's a lot of contract stuff involved. We got it worked out. Like, these contracts are usually really hard to hammer out, and it was coming together. Like, every day I was skeptical. I was like, no, it's not gonna happen. And it kept happening, it kept progressing. We're getting closer and closer. Like, my hospital got excited about it. I got excited about it. I had to tell my father about it and my really close friends about it. One of my friends came over and brought over a bottle of champagne and we celebrated it. And it's kind of embarrassing to admit because I've never really talked about crying on this channel, but I was in the shower one day and when I thought about what had happened and I was given this opportunity, I cried in the shower. Like, it was not even like me to cry, but I was just like, wow, this is happening. This company believes in me. This is my opportunity to bring what we've done so successfully on the YouTube channel and bring it to the mainstream. You know, all of that was happening. We're about a week away from going to film. I'm laser focused to get to already the first filming day. The topics are being selected. I'm working with the other producer. Like, a lot of stuff was in the works. And then like a few days before the start of everything, they send the contract and it's missing one crucial word. And that word basically changed my ability to be able to nullify sponsors, to say that we shouldn't have this sponsor for the show. And that gave me some fear because to me, as a doctor, I feel like I need to have a say in what sponsors we take on because the last thing I want is for my show to turn into the typical media show that is selling nonsense, juice cleanses, detox, miracle weight loss formulas. Like, that's not what I'm about. And while I didn't think that that was the direction they were going, I needed to make sure by maintaining that control. So I got a little nervous and we reached out to them. We had like an all hands on deck call and I really pointedly asked, like, who are these sponsors that we're getting for this upcoming year that you will not give me that control? And the sponsors they started talking about blew my mind. Not in a good way. It was like miracle joint potion that makes you faster, stronger, better looking. Like, ridiculous claims. And I was like, what? We're a medical show. We want to help people. This is the opposite of what I stand for. And what the show told me knocked me on the floor. They said, Dr. Mike, we understand. We actually thought you might say this. So what we're willing to do is we're willing to bring in a guest medical host to just read the ads. What? You want me to put my face on the show, be the executive producer of the show, on my YouTube channel, debunk all this stuff, and then on my TV show, allow another doctor to spew medical misinformation? You thought that that would be okay with that? And at the same time, I was like, but this is my shot. Like, is there a way to make this work? Can we work it out? Can we bring other sponsors? I started calling my YouTube sponsors and asking if they would sponsor the show, trying to get financials in place to make sure that we could do this honestly with good integrity. My agent reached out to the TV TV show people, and the thing that they said to them was probably the most disappointing thing I've ever heard being in show business. They said that I am too much of a martyr for the cause, and I'm not willing to compromise. The reason I'm in this thing, the reason we're talking right now is because I won't compromise. When I told them that I was so upset that they said that I wouldn't compromise my ethics, which is just a ridiculous statement. They said that, Dr. Mike, this isn't a YouTube channel. We have real costs, we have real employees that we need to pay. And it was at that moment, I hung up and I turned down this multi-million-dollar deal to be on every TV station in the nation and continue doing YouTube very, very happily. It was an easy decision. At the same time, it was a very easy decision. Money comes and goes. It's about the bigger mission. The fact that we're able to present good information and be successful at doing that. I have a unique skill and I want to continue sharing that with you. So I am not leaving YouTube. And in fact, I'm doubling down on YouTube, expanding the type of content that we're doing and announcing here, maybe for the second time if you saw my first boxing video with Ryan Garcia, that come 2022, I'm gonna be a real boxer. I'm gonna have my first official boxing match. I can't say yet with who. I promise you it's gonna be exciting. Second, I announced the tour. I hope you guys are coming. April, we have a 4-city tour, Boston, Philly, Red Bank, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C., not in that order. The show is gonna be a mix of comedy, improv, game shows. The theme of this conference, this isn't a TED Talk. I'm not lecturing anyone on stage. There's gonna be audience participation. If you wanna participate, I'm gonna bring you on stage. There's VIP tickets available, limited though. A lot of people are buying those already, so get those because with that, you get a meet and greet, photo shoot, limited edition merch. I know there's some concerns that I've read about Omicron with the tour. Remember, this is in 5 months from now. Continue getting vaccinated, continue getting your boosters. We're gonna follow all COVID protocols once the show goes live. I'm still staying alert, not anxious, as I've said from January 2020. On another note, Patreon community, what's up? We raised over $61,000 on the Patreon community. That's right, to join the Patreon community is just $9.99 a month, and I don't keep any of that money. All of it goes to charity. We decide together as a Patreon community each month where that money goes. Look at all these charities we've donated to this year. By joining the Patreon, you get access to a Discord server that I'm on, monthly live streams where I open mail and talk about the charities that we're donating to and give little spoilers and teasers and updates and things that we're up to. You get to participate in contests that if you win, you're allowed to watch a show with me or a game with me. We also use some of our Patreon community in our videos, as you've seen in the past, and you get discounts for merch, because we've had our first merch drop, or maybe our second merch drop, but it was an absolute success, the Chest Compressions merch drop. We're gonna be doing one every quarter though. And each quarter there's gonna be a theme. So get excited for the themes. I'd love to hear your suggestions, drop them down below. I already have some in mind that I'm excited about. And for the new year, we're continuing to expand the team. On the lookout for new editors. There's a link down below to submit your application if you're interested. We're also looking for brand strategists, like a chief operations officer. There's all sorts of people that we're looking for. I also want to spend more time training this guy. Bear, come here. I want to get him back in the hospital, and I've kind of slacked with his training. Come on up, say hi to everybody. It's the end of year video, bud. It's the end of year video. Noof. Look at this noof. And better, more content. That's the goal, to get you guys to have fun and learn something in the process. As always, stay happy and healthy in the new year. Say bye, man. I'm about to uber fact check these uber facts. Are you a motion graphics designer that has really top-notch editing skills? There's a link down below for you to apply. Do it. Do it. Let's just get started. Beep-whoop. After kissing someone passionately, their DNA can linger in your mouth for more than an hour. I don't know why I threw that passionately thing in there, but this is true. Not only are you sharing the bacteria, fungi, viruses, all of the microbiota that exists inside your mouth, you're also sharing some of your DNA. It's also called saliva swapping. Bonding with dogs causes your brain to release dopamine and oxytocin in the same way as loving a child. Barry, you're like my child. It's also the same thing that's released when you're cuddling with someone. Oxytocin is also known as the cuddle hormone. But you also let off something known as beta endorphin, which also is a feel-good, positively attributed neurotransmitter that your body just makes you feel loved. The human mouth is dirtier than a toilet seat. It depends on your definition of dirty. Because if you're doing strictly bacteria, it is true. If you ever actually hit someone in the face with a punch and their tooth goes into your knuckle, that could be a fight bite, so that when the bacteria gets into the joint or near the joint, when you reposition your hand like that, it can no longer escape, gets trapped, puts you at risk for osteomyelitis, a bone infection, septic arthritis, a joint infection, and those are quite serious, so we give antibiotics really quickly for fight bites. A human sneeze can travel about 100 miles per hour. Yeah, this is true. We've seen on slow motion camera where like the sneeze droplets, the micro droplets, the ones that probably aren't carrying viral material, are shooting as far as like 27 feet away. The reason we say stay 6 feet away for like the influenza and COVID-19 is because we've seen that the majority of the heavy droplets that carry the virus actually fall at that 6 feet rate. But it doesn't make you 100% protected by any means. Why did that lady just sneeze on her cat? The largest bone in the human body, the femur, can support 30 times the weight of a person's body. This is in fact true, strongest bone in the body. Oh, hey, bear. Also, the reality is to fracture the femur, it needs to be a high-speed car accident, a very high fall. You're not gonna just fracture your femur as a young, healthy adult by walking on the street and taking a slip. If human DNA were uncoiled, it would stretch 10 billion miles. 10 billion miles. That's equivalent going to Pluto and back. I gotta fact check that because that is excessive. This fact is actually not true. Each cell in your body has DNA. If we uncoiled it, it would go about 6 feet. And then if you add up all the cells in our body, that adds up to 67 billion miles, which is 150,000 round trips from here to the moon. I don't know about you, but I've never taken a round trip to the moon. If I would, I wouldn't do it 150,000 times. The highest blood alcohol concentration ever recorded was 0.91%, more than twice the usual lethal level, and 11 times more than a legally intoxicated person. It is potentially 11 times more than a legally intoxicated person, but let's see what the highest recorded on record is. I'm sure I can find that out. All right, this one's false. There are much higher reported levels across the globe on this. The important fact here is actually anything above a 0.5 blood alcohol content is respiratory failure, death, coma, etc. When doctors say they need something stat, it is a shortened version of the Latin word statum, meaning immediately. Instantly, immediately, yes, this is true. And that's why we always say chest compressions, stat, because they should be done immediately when someone's unconscious without a pulse. The Pentagon spends an estimated $41,600,000 a year on Viagra. We fact checked this. It is absolutely true. And if you combine it with drugs like Cialis, Levitra, which have the same mechanism of action, that totals $294 million. The reality is sometimes we prescribe these medications for pulmonary hypertension in order to lower the pressure in the lungs. Some of the other ones are also used for prostate issues. So don't judge and think that it's all about fun. And sometimes it's about procreation. If a male pees on a pregnancy test and the results are positive, it could be indicative of cancer. I like that they put the word "it could be" because there are certain tumors, specifically testicular tumors, that produce this hormone beta-HCG, which is what we test for when we give you one of these over-the-counter pregnancy tests. So while it's not something I would use as a screening method for cancer, if it does show up positive, that's a good reason to go see your doctor. British researchers have found that one smile can generate the same level of brain stimulation as up to 2,000 bars of chocolate. That is a lot of chocolate. Fact check time. It is true, and it can give you the same neurological boost as receiving $25,000. So smile away. Flow is the mental state your brain enters when you're completely involved in an activity that brings you so much joy you lose the sense of space and time. Truth! When you go, let's say rock climbing, or you're playing the piano for fun, there is no financial benefit, sexual benefit, work benefit, and yet we put so much effort into doing this, burning calories. It doesn't help our survival one bit, yet we do it. Why? Flow. That is why when you set little goals for yourself throughout the day that bring you joy, and they're attainable goals, and we create friendships along the way. This is the secret to fulfillment. I don't want to say happiness, I'm going to say fulfillment. Humans have the same number of hairs as chimpanzees, but our hair is useless and often invisible. I mean, if you're talking about peach fuzz, maybe, but the reality is through evolution, we actually end up losing the majority of this hair. For me, what's interesting is the hair that has remained and the reasons why it has remained. For example, like think about the eyebrows. Why do we have eyebrows? It's really as a way to serve as a nonverbal communication representing threat or hostility. Exercise reorganizes the brain so it is more resistant to stress. I don't know if reorganize is the exact term, but yes, this does happen. In fact, the brain has a factor in it called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which actually nourishes and matures new nerve cells to form. And as a result, you become more cognitively capable, more likely to be comfortable dealing with stress, even oxidative stress to some degree. Some level of activity is almost always beneficial to the human mind and body. The average person falls asleep in 10 to 20 minutes. I know for the people who are insomniacs out there, they're gonna get frustrated by this. This is somewhat true. My general rule is if you're rolling around in bed for more than 20 minutes and you can't fall asleep, you probably should get up and try and do something else that's calming in order to help you get sleepy again and then come back into bed and try again. Because once you lay there for 20 minutes, you start developing anxiety and frustration with being in the bed, not falling asleep. It's actually conditioning you to be more anxious the next time you go to bed, as opposed to leaving the bed, being anxious somewhere else, calming yourself down, and then going into bed when you're already tired. That's the optimal approach. For caffeine addicts, coffee doesn't actually increase alertness above baseline levels. It just reverses the fatiguing effects of acute caffeine withdrawal. There was a study done on this that actually did confirm it. However, it's an imperfect study. I think that, yes, if you need that temporary boost, especially early in the morning, it's totally fine to have a cup of joe. However, do not have it after lunch because caffeine takes several hours, more than 6 hours to clear out of your body. So if you're taking it at 4 or 5 o'clock, when you're going to bed, you're gonna still have some caffeine in your system, making it difficult for you to fall asleep. Or if you're one of these addicts that says, oh, I can drink caffeine and fall asleep like a baby. Yeah, you can, but guess what? You're not gonna go through all the stages of sleep well, and you're gonna wake up feeling unrefreshed. Boom. It's possible to die from a broken heart. This condition is called stress cardiomyopathy. Actually, it's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. Usually, this causes a non-ischemic heart attack, meaning it's not because of a blocked blood vessel, and your heart ends up suffering from a lack of oxygen. 90% of the reported cases are in women ages 58 to 75. A sunburn is the result of your skin cells killing themselves to protect you from their damaged DNA, which can cause cancer. Yeah, this is somewhat true because they're experiencing what's known as a type 1 programmed cell death. When you have radiation injury, your body understands that there could be genetic mutations there, so it goes through this programmed cell death, creating an inflammatory response. It's very painful, there's peeling, the skin cells actually flake off. This is a protective mechanism of your body. Meditation is such a powerful technique that after only 8 weeks, the brain structure changes. I don't know where they got this 8 weeks from, couldn't find that anywhere in the research, but the reality is meditation does change your brain's electrical activity. The way we should think of mindfulness and meditation is just like any other exercise. That's why the more you do it, the better you get at it. Our brains tend to be anxious beings that constantly are going all over the place. And when you try and control it for a short period of time of mindfulness, that takes effort, it's hard. That's why you should do it for a short period of time and then work your way up to longer periods of time. And when you do that, your brain structure is somewhat changing. So yeah, meditation all the way. Listening to music while exercising can measurably improve your physical performance. Yes, not only can listening to music affect your physical performance, it could also affect your brain waves. It's changes in music and also silence can have the same effect. Music that has like a crescendo where like it's a drop or a climax in it will affect the way your brain is reacting. It's really, really cool. Sweat is actually odorless. The smell is caused by bacteria that live on the skin. I wanna say true, cause like when people smell BO, they're really smelling bacteria farts. So it's true on that end. However, there are pheromones that sometimes have their own unique scent that is released when you stress sweat. And by the way, when you smell something, that's just a chemical receptor in your nose. Like it's not even a scent receptor, it just senses chemicals. How cool is that? SpongeBob also spreads misinformation. Click here to check that out. And as our Patreon recommended that I diagnose SpongeBob episodes. Let's just do Nickelodeon and get a bunch in there. See if your favorite show's reviewed. Be-whoop.
I'll cater to your every whim until that leg of yours is entirely healed.
I don't know what injury she has, but that's a full leg cast above the knee. I don't know what injury she had.
Say, that's not a bad idea.
What happened?
Munchausen syndrome in full effect when a patient pretends to be ill in order to gain attention and or sympathy. There's actually a Munchausen by proxy where someone can actively make like their child ill to get attention and sympathy for the both of them. It's a really devastating illness because it presents so many complications. Like the doctor has to even suspect that it's potentially happening.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna take pictures of your insides. Say cheese!
We don't get full body x-rays for a leg pain. Like, there's no point of that. It's just exposing you to more radiation. They're targeted.
It's kind of strange at first, but after a while, you get to like it.
When the x-ray tech or the radiology specialist is in there with you, they actually start the machine up, go behind a wall so they're protected because otherwise they're exposed to so much radiation over the dozens and dozens of tests they do in a given day. It's not healthy.
We'll be sick forever unless I can extract some mitochondria from the virus and make a vaccine.
Okay, medically, he just spoke gibberish. Getting the mitochondria, the energy center of the cell, not the powerhouse of the cell, will not allow you to create a vaccine. If you want to create a vaccine, you create a protein on the surface of it, then you put it into the body and allow the immune system to recognize it. You know, the way that we traditionally make vaccines. I don't know what he's talking about.
Look, there's Carl's brain.
Where? I don't see it. Is it behind that walnut on a stick?
Your brain is a lot bigger than that.
I got people inside me.
Why, whenever they do medical procedures on cartoons, they like strap people in like it's a torture device? Right, they just traveled into the stomach. So right away, if this was to happen, the acid would melt their little inflatable raft here, and they would fall into the acid and lose their lives. Which is why, by the way, drinking alkalized water is complete horse poop. The reason I say it is because when you drink the alkalized water, that means it has like a pH of 8 instead of 7. It falls into your stomach acid, which has a pH of like 2. What do you think happens to the pH of 8 when it mixes with a huge container of pH of 2? No longer alkaline.
Well, where to next, Douglas? The mountains? The Arctic?
I feel like these are the current devices we have now. You hop on a Peloton and it's like, where do you want to ride? Through what trail? And to me, like, I understand a lot of people don't have time to go outside or the weather's not cooperative, but like, folks, spend some time outdoors. It's cool too.
No. You need to start out slow, Doug. See, the important thing is not to strain yourself.
Amazing advice, no joke, in a cartoon. Right now, I had to just get back into working out. I used to bench like 255, 285 during my workouts. The other day I was doing 95, and it's okay. It bruises the ego, but it strengthens the muscles.
Nothing like a peanut butter and jellyfish jelly sandwich
Ew, peanut butter. Oh, that sounds gross.
to help you get to sleep.
And ideally, you don't want to eat too close to bedtime because then your stomach produces all those gastric juices, highly acidic, and then when you lie down and you're parallel to the floor and the gastric juices starts coming up, you get heartburn. Ugh. Smelly fridge syndrome?
The fridge!
No lie, that's how I sleep. I love it freezing. I like to sleep with multiple covers, with a hoodie on sometimes. I actually just got like one of these cooling mattresses. Maybe it's because I grew up in Siberia, and when I was in my mom's womb, I was like freezing all the time, so I want to go back to that. That's why I always sleep in the fetal position.
Don't be silly, Gary. I don't get colds. I get the suds. No, Gary. If I had the suds, I'd have bubbles coming out of me.
Oh no, he has the suds. Grandma was right to a degree. If you go outside and your hair is wet or you get a chill, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get sick. It can just make you a little bit more susceptible than you were before.
Hey, SpongeBob.
I'm sick, Patrick.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess that he has adenovirus, because you know, he has the conjunctiva that's inflamed, he has the upper respiratory symptoms. I don't know if he has diarrhea. I mean, he probably doesn't have diarrhea because he's a cartoon sponge after all. But if a cartoon sponge was to have diarrhea and inflamed conjunctiva and upper respiratory symptoms, adenovirus.
I know a guy who knows a guy who went to the doctor once, and the doctor's office is a horrible, horrible place.
It is not. We have fun there.
Well, first They make you sit in the waiting room.
Is that the horrible part, Patrick?
No, it gets worse. They make you read old magazines.
I don't know why that is. Can we update our magazine collection in the medical offices? For God's sake, who wants to read about People magazine from 2006? I mean, we know Britney was killing it back then, but we want to know what's up now. Was that the year she was killing?
Then the doctor pulls out his stethoscope. It's a device so sinister, so icy cold when it touches your bare flesh, it...
Honestly, the cold stethoscope is one of the meanest things a provider can do for you. Every time before I make contact with the patient's chest and or back to listen to lungs, I do one of these. And I get some of the warmth of my hand onto the stethoscope. It's the least you can do for your patients.
You gotta help me get better, Patrick. Please.
I'm so excited to see what Patrick's about to recommend. If he says Manuka honey, I might give the starfish a high five. I have been a doctor for like 7, 8 years. Medical school, 4 years. I do not know what that thing is on Patrick's head that doctors used to wear back in the day. It doesn't make sense. It reflects light. It has a hole in the middle. I have no idea what it is, what it does. I've even worn it as part of a Halloween costume. Oh my God, I actually look like a doctor.
It appears as though we'll have to plug up these holes. This ought to do the trick. Voila! Feel better?
I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna do a hyper-analysis here. See, what's happening is instead of treating SpongeBob's core illness, he's treating the symptoms only. If this is a viral illness, that's a perfectly acceptable way to go about it, to allow the immune system time to heal, to rest, to improve itself. But if it's a bacterial infection, we're missing it. We're treating symptoms and not treating the underlying cause. Could be a big cause for concern there, Patrick. My lawyers will be in touch. Or as my legal eagle friend says it, I'll see you in court.
I'll see you in court.
Feeling better yet?
Not really.
Why did he pull out his tooth?
How about no?
I don't think so.
Actually, you may think this is silly. This is something we sort of do in the hospitals. It's called chest physical therapy. If a patient has a lot of mucus, we actually have specialized beds that perform this like thumping feature that helps clear out the mucus. In patients who have cystic fibrosis, we actually need this type of chest physical therapy to be done on a regular basis in order to help them expel that mucus and prevent blockages in the airways. Kind of crazy that SpongeBob has some level of medical accuracy. Who knew?
It seems you have the suds. Are you ready for your treatment?
The doctor's wearing the thing again. What is that thing? What is it doing? And why is there a fish anatomy in the background when there's a sponge patient? Different species.
Well, it looks like your gluteus maximus has made a full recovery.
Ooh, his gluteus maximus. They're using proper anatomical terms. I guess he tore a muscle in his buttock.
Your butt's all better. It's really quite amazing.
I love that they did an x-ray. First of all, you can't x-ray a gluteus maximus. You can't x-ray muscles. You can x-ray bones, joints, but not muscles.
It took 20 hours to put it all back together. We actually ran out of staples and had to use a glue stick.
There is a fact here. In closing skin, there are both of those options. For example, if you get a cut on your skull, you can actually close it with staples. It works quite well. If you get a small cut on your hand, we have skin glue that can keep it together. Isn't that cool? SpongeBob, what's up?
Ah, Doctor. Thank goodness you're here.
They're wearing the thing on the heads again.
And what seems to be the problem today? My throat hurts!
Why is this patient admitted inpatient into a hospital for a throat ache? With, again, a chart on the bedside that looks like a stock market chart more than it does an EKG. What even is that?
I'll need 1 medical sea chicken.
What's a medical sea chicken?
Hey, my keys! And my throat feels better.
He's not a doctor of humans. He's a vet because they're in a fish tank or at the bottom of the ocean. And there's a catfish that ate some keys and didn't have strep throat, but had key throat!
You solved that one. Subscribe!
Key throat! Key throat! Oh no, little Larry pharyngitis.
Oh, those tonsils are really enlarged, Gerald.
Tonsillitis.
I think we should take them out.
Now we're trying to move away from doing tonsillectomies. We're weighing the risks versus benefits here, and we have like a set of guidelines that we follow. If you have X number of strep throats or tonsillitis or pharyngitis, that we get you set up with an ENT who then makes a decision whether or not they need to come out. Now we're trying to do our best to manage it medically and not have to resort to a surgical operation if we don't need to. That doesn't mean you won't get surgery. I'm just saying there's options on the table. Ow.
What am I gonna do, Arnold?
Maybe if you gargle or something.
Gargling is actually not a bad option. Also, honey. You know I love my honey.
Are you having problems with your you-know-what? No, my giggly gland is fine.
His what gland?
No, it's not. Cosmo's fagiggly gland is...
Fagiggly gland! I wonder what the fagiggly gland is.
The special magical organ in a fairy's body that allows us to change shape.
What?
Is Cosmo sick?
Let me put this to you in terms Cosmo could understand.
Yes! Why does the doctor keep putting the glasses on, taking them off, and why is the stethoscope floating? I need extra. And he's wearing that thing! What is that thing? Oh no, Walking Dead again? Why are they all jaundiced?
What the? It looks okay. 986 degrees.
98.6 degrees, normal body temperature?
This morning, our house became infested with an acute febrile contagious virus.
Ooh.
Or as it's known on the street, the flu.
Ooh, the flu. We haven't been seeing much of that lately.
With 13 louds packed into 1,200 square feet, when someone gets sick, it spreads like the plague.
That's true, actually, in like college dorm rooms, military barracks. Anytime you have people living in close proximity, it's very easy for one person to get sick and then get everybody else sick.
In case we're attacked, this concoction will slow down the infected.
What is it, boogers?
Tastes like chicken soup.
Oh.
That's because it is chicken soup.
I would be just shooting that in my mouth all day. I love chicken soup.
They won't let go! Help!
Stop making so much noise. It's just a purple pentapus.
Oh, it's a purple pentapus. I've never heard of a purple pentapus. I don't know why this popped into my head. If you ever heard of molluscum contagiosum, it sounds really serious, but it's not really that scary of a virus that causes like these little skin pearly papules to pop up. It happens more often in kids, people who share towels. Sometimes they're sexually transferred. I like when they just like rub them like that. And they just pop right off. Morgan School?
Good morning, class. Good morning, Miss Pancreas.
Miss Pancreas.
Miss Pancreas? Yes, bladder?
That doesn't look like a bladder. That looks like a lemon.
Can I go to the bathroom?
And ironic that the bladder has to go.
You'll have to wait till after roll call.
Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I remember in like 2nd or 3rd grade, I asked the teacher to go to the bathroom and she said no, and I peed myself in class. Someone said like, oh, what's that liquid next to your desk? I'm like, I spilled a water bottle. Thank God my pants dried quickly. So embarrassing, I can't believe I'm talking about it. Kids sometimes ask me weird medical questions. Click here to check that out, and as always, stay happy and healthy. Simpsons, check. Family Guy, you're next.
Last week's flu scare got me thinking. I don't know anything about my genetic makeup or what other illnesses I might be susceptible to.
You know what's funny about this? There's actually a genetic test for dogs. I actually did it for Bear and Roxy. Turns out they are what we thought they were. They were who we thought they were.
So it made me want to do a 23andMe genetic test.
I think the one I did was called Embark.
I'm predisposed to like caffeine. So true.
That's such a problem with these genetic tests. Oh my God. Like so many of them will give you information that is genetically accurate to some degree, and then they tell you something that you cannot practically act on at all. You know, we have a higher likelihood that you may live 5 years less than a normal person would.
Okay, what do I do with that?
What use is it to know that you are potentially have a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease? It's just like flexing. The genetic people are like, ugh!
Phew. Don't have the Alzheimer's gene, that's good.
See, I knew it!
And it says I don't have the Alzheimer's gene, so that's good. How would you like to be a male nurse?
Do I get to wear those green pajama clothes all day?
Yes.
AKA scrubs, they're not pajamas, although they are kind of comfy like pajamas.
Today, I need you to observe surgery.
Boo! Boo! My sister can attach ventricles better than you.
Why are they attaching ventricles of the heart? I'm so confused what surgery he was looking at. I could have sworn the abdomen was open in that scene. There are operating theaters where you can watch operations be performed. It's great for residents, fellows, even other doctors that are trying to learn. I don't think they let family members do that. I have seen it on Grey's Anatomy, but I've never seen it in real life. Goes to show. That looks like a weird ECG pattern. Oh, flatline. You know what we do? Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions, code blue. Whoop, whoop.
Come on, you gotta live, damn it! I need you!
Okay, those are not good chest compressions.
Remember!
Okay, so ACLS, Advanced Cardiac Life Support, would not tell you to punch a chicken in the face. Just want to put that out for the record.
What are you doing, Peter?
I'm making my own Red Bull. Lois can't stop me from experiencing the manic highs and lows my body demands.
Kerosene? Why is he putting kerosene in it? Red Bull has a lot of stuff in it, like 80 milligrams of caffeine, taurine. If you want a caffeine boost, like just have a cup of coffee. It's more natural. There's actually polyphenols in there because it's plant-based. Coffee beans are just better for your health. At least our research shows that.
That drink will kill you. Brian, whatever kills me makes me stronger.
I think he messed that one up.
See, Brian? I feel great.
Peter? Peter, are you alive?
Poison hotline, stat. By the way, did you know that there's a nationwide poison hotline?
All the toxic chemicals your husband ingested from his homemade energy drink have caused total kidney failure.
Total kidney failure requires dialysis, and quickly, where you essentially take the blood outside the body, clean it, and process it the way the kidneys do, and put it back into the body.
We'll put him on a kidney transplant list, but that could take months. Until a donor is found, he's going to have to undergo dialysis treatments 3 times a week.
Dialysis? Is there any other way?
What about me?
What's the difference between a dog kidney and a human kidney? I have no idea. Like, I assume it's similar, but I feel like dog kidneys might not last as long. I don't know. Bear, I would never harvest your organs. I will not ever harvest your kidneys. They are yours, and even if we are a match, I will make sure you get to keep them. Why are you so messy?
Chances are Peter never would have survived the surgery. I mean, dog kidneys? I'm not even sure dogs have kidneys. What? Do dogs have kidneys?
Yes.
Ah, this is the guy.
This is what I felt like. Maybe you put on a few pounds, sweetie.
Lois, I weigh the same 293 pounds today that I weighed in grade school.
Perhaps it's this lump on the side of your neck,
Ooh.
sir.
Oh my God,
That
Peter.
does not look
How long
safe.
have you had that thing?
I don't know.
We gotta go see Dr. Hartman right away.
Quick differential diagnosis: Cushing's syndrome, lipoma, soft tissue mass, like a sarcoma. Could it be a lymphoma and he has a swollen lymph node there? I guess that's possible as well.
No, you're stupid. Oh, hello, Griffins. What can I help you with today?
That should be a warning sign if you walk into a doctor's office and they're just yelling at a patient, "You're stupid."
Dr. Hartman, Peter has a huge lump growing on his neck.
Mrs. Griffin, that's called a head. I've been fooled by that one before.
Well, will you take a look at it? I think it might be a tumor.
Okay, let's have a look. It appears you have a subcutaneous vestigial twin growing on your neck.
Is he saying that it's a teratoma with just by touching it? I mean, that's very impressive that he was able to diagnose it. So much so that it is not real. A teratoma is basically a type of tumor that has all sorts of different stem cells in it where they start growing different cell lines like hair, teeth, muscle. You cut it open and there's just like almost a twin in there. Like, it's crazy. Like, you could have human remains almost.
Now hold still. I'm just going to give you a little topical anesthetic and we'll have a closer look.
What? Ow, that would not, you'd need injection anesthetic. A little lidocaine.
Hi, everybody.
He did a skin flap though, that's impressive.
Get up, we're late.
Oh, he does not look good. He looks like he has anemia, potentially some dehydration there. Oh my God, jaundice? Like there's a little yellowing of the eyes.
How did this happen?
It's from smoking.
Oh.
Not that bad.
Peter, you can't live like this. I'm taking you to Dr. Hartman.
No, I hate the doctor.
Are you sure? There are Cheez-Its in there.
Cheez-Its?
It's like a vet visit. I'm not gonna lie, I have some patients that come in and I'm like, oh, like when's the last time you were to a doctor? They're like, you know, like 3-4 years, mostly because I hate going to see the doctor. I hate doctors. And I'm like, hey.
Mr. Griffin, I'm going to need to ask you a few questions. Do you think I can jump and touch that pipe up there?
I don't know why. I always used to do that as a kid. Street signs, crosswalk signs, scaffoldings was always, can you touch that? Do you think you can touch that? $5 if I could touch that.
Dr. Hartman, we're here for you to help Peter quit smoking.
Mrs. Griffin, I can't do that. It's an addiction.
Oh, you gotta do something.
Well, we absolutely could do something about that. Not only do we have behavioral treatment options for it, but we have pharmaceutical options for it, including nicotine patches, oral medications. All of them are not right for everybody, and you have to do an individual discussion with your doctor to figure out what's right for you. And the first step of quitting is contemplating quitting. I guess even before that is understanding why quitting is important.
But Dr. Hartman, why did he lose consciousness?
Well, keeping in mind the recent behavioral changes you've described, I did a CAT scan.
On a dog.
Oh, that's actually pretty funny, a CAT scan on a dog. God, we're such nerds.
However, I'm sorry to inform you that Brian has a brain tumor.
Oh, no.
So, Doc, how much Jamba Juice do I have to drink to cure this? I've also heard that, like, crystals exist.
He's been reading a little bit too much of Goop.com.
Do you think the brain tumor might explain why Brian's been acting so odd lately?
Well, I haven't heard of brains being linked to behavior, but I suppose anything is possible. Well, it says here, Brian's tumor is for office use only.
Benign. It says benign.
Tumors can either be described as benign or malignant. Malignant meaning that they're problematic, they can spread, they can actually cause you to die. Benign tumors, usually the only way that they can cause a problem is if they can turn malignant, or if they become big enough in size where they exhibit mass effect, putting pressure on other structures, causing them to malfunction.
Is my father gonna be okay?
Is that House MD?
He's in a coma, Mrs. Griffin.
Oh, they got Gregory House for this. Wow.
Dr. House, if you're gonna save this patient, you'll need this. Get this thing out of my sight!
Wait, is that not even him? Is that someone doing his voice really well?
Well, wait a second. How are you going to play by the rules if you don't have the rule book? Oh.
Yeah.
My methods are a little unorthodox, Mr. Griffin. I think I can help.
Oh!
What are you doing?
My job. Sometimes people fake being in a coma. This man's not. Unless, of course, the first punch knocked him out.
He literally is the type of doctor that's like, all right, I think it could be this. Let's poison the patient and see if they recover. And I'm like, that's not really how you practice medicine.
Sir, I think you should know these growths on your forearms. They're giant tumors.
I just realized Popeye was not a healthy character. Why are the forearms huge and the biceps tiny? And then second of all, what's with the pipe? Is he always smoking? Because that's not healthy no matter how much spinach you eat.
And the speech thing and what you're doing with your eye? You had a stroke about 7 years ago.
Oh my God. That would make sense, because if you aren't able to open your eye, maybe, oh my God. Bell's palsy. God, I lost my mind. Maybe he has Bell's palsy.
That you've managed to be walking around all this time is nothing short of a miracle. I'd say about 2 months.
I'd say he should stop smoking. He should go to the gym and meet with a physical therapist and figure out why he's lifting solely with his forearms and not his upper body.
You should get a vasectomy.
First of all, I don't know what that is. And second of all, no freaking way.
Peter, it's the male equivalent of a woman getting her tubes tied, except it's actually a lot quicker and safer. Let these guys explain.
It is, and some people say it's reversible, but that's not really a good way to think about it. While it can be reversed in some cases, you should think of it as a permanent change. Excuse me, you still should be wearing a condom because of STI protections. Why do they say goodbye to manhood? Like, it prevents unwanted pregnancies. What does manhood have to do with it? All the incredible information you need to know about underwear right here. I said underwear. Yeah, my underwear, your underwear, we're talking about it. Click here. And as always, stay. Darman is a hyper-popular content creator both on Facebook and YouTube, having nearly 30 billion views on his videos. And today we're gonna watch some of the medically themed ones to see how accurate they are and see what moral principles I learned from them. Let's get started.
Miss Swanson, we just got your results in and we need to get you into surgery immediately.
Doctor, I was just fine this morning.
Look, there's not a lot of time to explain.
There's plenty of time to explain. Any doctor that tells you that, unless you're actively bleeding out or having a heart attack and you see a million people rushing around you, there's time to explain.
This is what the surgery's gonna cost.
What? There's no time to explain why you need surgery, but let's chat financials.
Now, we looked into your insurance and they are not gonna cover it. So you're gonna have to pay for this out of pocket.
We don't bring bills to patients who need life or death surgery. It just doesn't work that way. We do have programs for those who live below the poverty line for the government to help subsidize their care. We also have charitable resources for things like this. Like my hospital has a charity care system in place for this. No one's bringing you a bill for life or death surgery right before and saying, oh, if you can't pay it, bye.
14B. Here we go. Oh, it's not fitting.
Here, let me help you with that.
Thank you so much. I don't know why they make the thing so complicated.
They're not complicated. You're just not smart enough.
Who acts like that in real life? I feel like passengers would get involved if that happened. I mean, just the other day, I saw that passenger who got like duct taped to his seat because he was acting up.
Sir, that's not very nice.
What? I'm just being honest. I mean, look at him.
Who talks like this?
Nice book. How you like it?
Okay, well, it is called Advanced Physics, and it is by Thomas Watson, one of the most prestigious physics scholars in the entire world. And I would explain it to you, but I don't think you're smart enough to get it.
Individuals who are diagnosed with Down syndrome definitely have their fair share of troubles with other people in society because people are not always nice and they're not always understanding. A lot of times that comes from ignorance. Sometimes it's ignorance that is by choice, where they don't want to learn about certain conditions. And Down syndrome is actually one of the most common chromosomal abnormalities, and it's really a diverse set of phenotypes that result from these type of chromosomal abnormalities.
That book is even better. The next chapter.
What are you talking about? How would you know?
Because I am Thomas Watson.
Every person diagnosed with Down syndrome has their own unique abilities and can thrive in society. It just sometimes they need more help than others in certain instances, whether it's occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavioral therapy. Some don't need that at all. Some perhaps need extra medical screenings for certain conditions like diabetes or gastrointestinal illnesses. But to judge someone simply because of the way that they look, you're gonna be wrong and you're setting up yourself and that person for failure.
Just turn your quiz towards me, okay? And I'll copy the answers. No. That'll be cheating. Bye.
Ow!
Are you all right?
No, my stomach, it really hurts.
Did you eat something bad?
Maybe. I'm allergic to peanuts. They might have been in something I ate. Oh!
Oh, in that case, you better go to the nurse's office.
But I don't want to miss your quiz.
It's okay. Your health is way more important.
I feel like kids do this all the time. As a teacher, you can't assume that children are lying, because the first time that you assume that that's the case is gonna be the time the child is actually really sick and something bad happens.
All right, everyone, we're doing 1 mile today.
What? Are you crazy? That's way too far.
Could do 2 miles. Let's go, follow my lead.
Hey, your shoelace. Oh, thanks. Actually, I've got an idea.
Oscar-nominated fall.
My ankle, I think I twisted it.
Shoelace is untied. It's probably how you fell. Can you put any pressure on it?
I don't know, let me try. Barely.
If you aren't able to bear weight immediately after an ankle injury, based on the Ottawa ankle rules, you need an x-ray.
He twisted his ankle on our run today. Looks like he's feeling better, though.
Mm-hmm. He told me he had a stomachache this morning, so he couldn't take the pop quiz.
There's actually a medical term for this called malingering. It's not the first thing I think about when patients do come in, but sometimes they come in asking for prescriptions they don't need, days off of work, disability insurance, disability placards.
I faked having an allergic reaction, so I didn't have to do our test. I didn't mean for it to go this far.
Well, I don't even blame the kid at this point. The mom is like all over the place. This doctor is like Dr. Kevorkian right now, trying to like sedate him without checking his vitals first or starting an IV.
It's too late. What are you doing?
We still have to give you a shot.
No!
Malpractice. Child abuse, malpractice, poor acting.
Fake. Retractable syringe.
What did I just watch? Do you know how busy hospitals are?
It's not real.
none of it is.
We just got all of the hospital staff and this bed for you because we're all so wealthy and have unlimited health care here. Aren't you happy?
Not even a siren. That's not even hooked up to anything. We knew you were faking it all along. Thanks for all your help.
And sorry to all the patients who may have died while we were doing this play acting thing.
You are in big trouble. But we'll deal with that when you get home.
I need a break after that. The teacher just leaves the classroom. The doctor sets up a fake scenario. They get fake medical equipment. They hit a button on the thing that makes the alarm go off, but it's not connected.